Hello, let's talk about the books I want to read this winter. I'm a little sick, so I think you can hear it in my voice, I'm sorry. Okay, so the first book on my winter TBR is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This is like a sequel series to the Grishaverse series that started with Shadow and Bone. It essentially follows three characters from that original series, Nikolai, what's the other one's name? Zoya and Nina. And essentially, if you don't know, Nikolai is a prince, but something happened to him and there's like this darkness inside of him. Zoya is desperate to see him on the throne, and Nina's dealing with her own shit. Is essentially what I got from the synopsis. This has just been on my shelf for a while, and I want to get through it. It's really big too, so it's taking up a lot of space on my shelf, so I would like to read it and then get rid of it. But I am excited because I really do like Leigh Bardugo's writing. Next is a book I know nothing about, and I don't want to know anything about. The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. This is the fourth of his secret projects, so it's the last one. I liked the first one, the other two were like kind of hit or miss for me, so I'm excited to get into this one. I'm hoping I really like it because I just want like a classic Brandon Sanderson novel that isn't full of like his humor, because I don't really appreciate that all that much. It also has black edges, which I think is so cool. I wish they had done that for the other books too. But yeah, I know nothing about this, but I'm really excited to pick it up just because I love Brandon Sanderson and I want to see what happens in this book. Next is a beefy one. A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is the prequel book to The Priory of the Orange Tree. And if you don't know, that book essentially takes place in a world where there are dragons. A fire-breathing dragon like destroyed the world at one point. But there are also water dragons, and some countries are against all dragons and some are cool with the water dragons. That's essentially all I can say. I have no idea what happens in this one. I don't want to look. I'm just excited to go back into this world. I'm excited to read like a really big long fantasy too. After that we have The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. This is the second book in the Poppy War series, and to be honest, it's been like a long time since I read the Poppy War series, so I don't know if I can summarize it for you. But essentially it's based on the Opium Wars, but there's like fantasy elements in there. No idea what happened to this book. I don't want to read the back because I don't want to get spoiled. I do think I'm going to need to look up the Poppy War though and like refresh myself with what happened, just because it's been actual years. But I'm excited to get in this one. I just recently bought the third one too, so I just want to like read the entire series in one go. Next up is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshin Chokshi. This book essentially follows this amazing woman who gets married, and her one condition to her husband is that he never pry into her past. Well, something happens and they have to go back to her childhood home, and he starts prying into her past, and that's all I know. I'm excited about this because I heard it's like really beautiful lyrical writing. I've heard a lot of people really hype this one up, and I really like Roshin Chokshi, so I really want to read this. It's also really short, so I feel like I should be able to get through it fairly quickly. After that, we have Dune by Frank Herbert. I don't know how to describe this one. Like, how do you describe Dune? I watched the movie, I loved the movie, makes me want to pick up the books. I had already picked up stuff at one point. I got it to 112 pages in, but I put it down because it was so close to when I had watched the movie, so it was just felt like a retelling of the movie. I do still want to get to it though because I want to read the later books. Essentially the back says it's set on the desert planet Arrakis, and the story of the boy named Paul, who would become known as the Muad'Dib, and of a great family's ambition to bring to fruition humankind's most ancient and unattainable dream. That's all it says on the back, so that's what I'll leave you with because I do not know how to summarize this book for the life of me. Next is another book I don't know too much about, I'm sorry. And that is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Noel by Susanna Clarke. What I do know in this book is that it takes place during like the Regency era, I think. And it follows Jonathan Strange and Mr. Noel, who I think are trying to bring magic back to England, or like wizardry or something. I picked this one up because I really loved Piranesi by this author, and it made me want to read everything she's ever written. This is also another chunky fantasy, which I'm just perfectly in the mood for right now. So I think this will make a great addition to my TBR, and I really want to get this one soon. Another book I can't describe for the life of me, I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. This book was made into a movie on Netflix, and I watched the movie and I loved the movie. But for the love of God, I don't know how to describe it to you. There's also nothing on the back to help me. It's just quotes from people who love the book. The first quote says, "An ingeniously twisted nightmare road trip through the fragile psyches of two young lovers." So there you go. That's the description. I'm excited to read it though. I want to read this author's other book too, just because I love the movie so much. Like, I'm positive I'm gonna love this. After that, we have Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Morton. It took me a while to say that. This is a horror novel, and it follows Beth and Fran, who spend their days traveling the ragged New England coast, hunting feral men and harvesting their organs. So, that sounds good. I picked this one up because my favorite author, Carmen Maria Machado, talked about it. I think she even blurbed it. Yeah, a modern horror masterpiece. I also want to read more horror because I just think it's a genre I really like, but I just don't know what to pick up in. So yeah, I'm excited about this one. After that, we've got American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I don't know why I'm like going like this with it. I don't know really what happens in this book. The back says, released from prison, Shadow finds his world turned upside down. His wife has been killed, a stranger offers him the job, and Shadow, with nothing to lose, accepts. But a storm is coming. Beneath the placid surface of everyday life, a war is being fought, and the prize is the very soul of America. I want to read more Neil Gaiman. I read Coraline, which is like a children's book, and I liked it. I also picked up, I think it's The Ocean at the End of a Lane, which is the only adult novel I read by him, and I loved that. So I want to give his other work a chance, and I think this would be a good place to start. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I'm excited. After that, we have Lona by Tasha Moshfegh. I don't know much about this one either. The back says, it follows a motherless shepherd boy who finds himself a part of a power struggle that puts the community's faith to a savage test. I know this is a horror novel. I've been like very iffy on Tasha Moshfegh's work. Like, I loved My Year of Rest and Relaxation, didn't really like Aline, hated McGlue, kind of like Death in Her Hands. So I'm excited to see what I think about this one. If it doesn't go well, I might just stop trying to pick up on Tasha Moshfegh's books. But it does really appeal to me, and I just love this cover. I love when like classical art is on the cover of books. Then we have The Winter Witch by Paula Braxton. This book follows the main character Morgana, who has never spoken or hasn't spoken since she's been very young, and it kind of makes her an outsider in her village. Her mother is concerned about her, so she wants to see her married as soon as possible. So she marries her to this man named Kai. And at first she's really heartbroken to leave her mother, but she eventually warms up to Kai and his farm and just loves being there. However, at some point someone tries to start turning the community against her again. And there's some dark forces at play. This is on here pretty much just because the title says The Winter Witch. And I don't really do seasonal reading, but I think it would be fun to read like a wintry book in winter for once. It does sound fun otherwise. I actually started this one a while back. I took the bookmark out of it though. I didn't get very far because I just wasn't in the mood for a romance, but I think that might be changing, so. And then the last book on my winter TBR is Philip Pullman's The Golden Compass. I have no idea what this is about. I know that it follows a young woman named Lyra and her demons? I don't know. I think it's like a polar bear or something, right? I don't know. What I do know is that this is like a really, really popular fantasy series, and I've never read it. And that has to change. I want to try it out. I'm hoping I'll like it, and then I can pick up the next books and just do like a readathon through the series. But yeah, I'm excited for this one as well. So there you go. Those are all the books I want to read this winter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video. Goodbye.